So should I do an intro for it, or like should I just record it like it's just a conversation at this point, right?
You can do an intro if you. I mean, you should do whatever you want.
Okay,
It's your thing that you're gonna post, so
that's true, I guess.
it's
All
all up
right,
to you.
all right. Well, hey guys, Lord Nick here. I am back again with another episode of the Dangerous Game Podcast, episode number 25. I have been away for quite a while. Sarc has actually asked me to come back a couple of times to know when we were going to do the next one. And life just kept finding a way to get in the way. So that that really sums up what happened there. But even during this time where I wasn't able to play a lot of League, I was watching pretty much every professional game that was going on, like to a very, very large degree. And so some interesting revelations happened from watching those and looking at other streamers who are much more successful than I that did some things this season that role swapping specifically. Like there's quite a few pros that are in professional play that have successfully role swapped, but quite a few who have also just never been able to adjust from that role swap. Like they changed their roles and it just ended their career. And then there's some that have just been able to make it back to their point, and then there was like a few of them that have struggled their way through. Just like Tyler One, for instance, did the exact same switch that I did, which was at the beginning of this season. Now, motivation-wise, might have been different, but I said screw ADC. I couldn't really tolerate having to be on a role that's so reliant on my team when mechanically I was not gifted enough to use it. I said, let me go to jungle, which is still a bit of a mechanical spot right now, but it still was something that I felt like I had more agency to do so. And he did the exact same thing, except he proved that he could do almost as well initially. And he struggled in the diamond area, and it took him quite a while to get back to that master area. And so like between that and then like watching who he take almost an entire year adjusting to the role swap to becoming one of the best supports in North America at the moment, which may not be as much of an accomplishment compared to the rest of the world, but still a pretty good accomplishment nonetheless. It still took time. Like they didn't just instantly get back to form like they were, right? They didn't just instantly become as good as they were previously. Arguable with the who he thing. He might have been about as good as he was previously, in spring. But it made me think, why was I putting so much pressure on myself to have to surpass my benchmark that I had before? I'd been consistently in Plat 4, Plat 5 for I don't know, 6-7 years, or 6 years I think it was. I was in that area. So, my benchmark had always been getting past that in the ADC role, which made sense because I played ADC so much. I knew the role and I always adjusted with the role. But like I previously stated, jungle is a completely different role. Still somewhat mechanically oriented, but it's still completely different. And so I should have been looking at it not like that I've played this game for 10 years, but this was my hard reset, right? Going forward, I am now a jungler. I am not an ADC. I have a completely different identity, and so I should have probably been focusing on that from the get-go, right? Like, instead of bringing myself down, I should have been looking at the positive side of it of just like, hey, I instantly was able to get back to the spot that I've been always stuck at for the past couple of years in a role that I just recently picked up. Sure, I dabbled in it in the past, but I was never, like, focused on getting better at it. I never, tried to get better. And I showed, that I could actively improve a ridiculous amount in certain margins. At the beginning of when Sark started joining the podcast with me, I felt like I didn't have any real strengths. I didn't have a whole lot of weaknesses, but I wasn't, like, particularly good at any one thing. And I think now I definitely have much more of an identity as a guy who can control vision and control knowledge of the jungle a lot more so than I did before. My mechanics may not have gone up too much, but I've watched as my ward score has gone up astronomically in games. Like, I started off and I would average somewhere in the 20 range. Now, if I don't have about a 45 to 60 ward score by about 25 minutes, I feel like I'm behind on my. I'm not doing my job. So like I've at least gotten to a point where that aspect has gotten better for me. I've gotten better at being able to secure objectives and being able to figure out my own jungle pathing and tracking people. And so I've made a lot of improvements that I should be proud about, opposed to just looking at that one negative, which is I haven't hit my goal as to like a rank or anything like that. So Sark, have you experienced anything similar to that? I know you play a lot of different roles, so anything like that ever really occurred to you? Any thoughts like that?
Not really, because I never played one role enough like you to actually feel like I played a role. I
Okay.
don't really. Do you get what I mean? You felt
Yeah.
like you're an ADC player,
Yeah.
whereas
You
I
were
don't know. I
you're a
just
fill player.
yeah,
You played whatever you really felt like, right? Like you never.
yeah,
So I mean, like, yeah. I guess that's two different ends of the spectrum then, because like I was hardcore dedicated, and I can't even say ADC player really. Like for the first couple of seasons, sure, I played a multitude of ADCs, but then as after Jin came out, it was just me and Jin, man. Like that was my champion by far for a very long time. Um, and so yeah, just making this drastic swap, um, really was massive change on me. And it also gave me better perspective. I think I don't know. Have you noticed any previously when we would talk and hang out, and I played a bit more because I know the last couple of weeks I haven't really been playing, but previously you'd sometimes check in on me and stuff. Like, were you noticing improvements and stuff where I was actively, starting to improve? Not becoming like particularly good at anything per se, but like there was actual improvement. You could actually see some of the improvement to a degree.
dude. I was surprised. This is completely unrelated to what you're asking. I'm sorry,
Okay, go ahead.
but I looked at your fucking YouTube channel and I didn't realize it's been like 3 months since. No, wait,
So
2 months. My bad.
about 2 months since the
2
last
months.
episode. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a hot minute.
since the last time we talked. But stuff you improved at, I don't know, dude. I mean, it felt like just overall you were playing better, or a little bit better than when you're getting stuck in freaking high gold. But I don't think I saw anything like specifically that I felt like you were doing a lot better. Just more like you weren't randomly ending sometimes.
Okay, so like decision making, overall decision making became a bit more obvious that I wasn't like making as many stupid decisions. Would probably be the thing that was a bit more obvious there.
Yeah, but even then, like during your climb, I don't feel like I watched a ton of your games, so
That's fair.
I can't even tell.
That's fair. Well, like,
Because I remember like near the
hmm.
time you actually got back into plat, I wasn't really like we weren't really talking at all, and I don't remember playing with you at all. So
Yeah, we haven't really played much. I mean, the two people I was kind of trying to lean on for this climb and trying to get better at, I really kind of stopped talking about talking to as I started getting into the plat area, which was kind of weird.
uh,
So,
yeah, I remember after you got back into plat, we talked a bit because you were talking. That was when you were talking about how like you only want to play like 3 or 4 champions and which ones they should be, right? Because I remember talking to you a bit then, but at that point you were already back in plat. Like
yeah.
I don't know, was it pretty quick when you went from gold one back into plat? Like the last time I
Um.
was maybe? Because
So let's see.
I don't remember if that was a long time or a short time.
So it really kind of depends how you look at it, because there was a small break in between my gold one run. So I had a small period of time in gold one, maybe about a month, where I was in gold one and I'd get up to my promos and I'd just lose them, and I did that like 7-8 times. And then there was like a 2 week break. I was sitting at 85 LP. I was just like, and I came back after that 2 week break, and it wasn't like an intentional break. I don't remember what it was, but something was causing me not to be able to play as much. I think it might have been me prepping for tryouts or something. Like I was just not trying as much because I didn't want to fuck up my rank right before tryouts. And then like a week before the tryouts for NMU happened, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna play my ranked. I'm just gonna play Skarner. Let's see what happens. And I went on like a 8 game win streak and just got into plat. And I was just like, I won my game, got into my plat promos, won all 3 of those immediately, and then won the next like 2 or 3 games in plat, of which my MMR tanked horribly. FYI, apparently just winning your promos that fast just screws your MMR. Which was fun. But I mean that last little trip was really fast, but the overall trip to get from gold 1 to plat 4 was actually very long. It took a very long time to consistently keep myself motivated without becoming frustrated. Um, I think that was the biggest tripping point. Really, was like I had to start becoming more aware of my frustration. Right, like I have a very bad habit of just getting very mad for people making stupid decisions that I could obviously play out in my head that they're going to make those stupid decisions. Like, it's not like they were just wildly unpredictable stupid moves. It was just like, obviously this guy has showcased he's not going to roam. I need to stop making plays expecting him to roam. Even, it doesn't matter how many times I ping, doesn't matter how many times I put down vision to make sure his roam path is perfect. If he doesn't want to move, he's not going to move. So, I mean, I was tripping back up into some old bad habits because it's something I did a lot towards the beginning of the season, but I just never understood. Like, I wasn't ever paying enough attention. And, like now, like, towards this last climb, I paid enough attention to notice it, and I was just like, fuck it. I'm adjusting my style to, like, force fights on that person to showcase we could win fights. And I think that was the biggest thing is a lot of people don't understand their own power spikes. Like, it doesn't matter how much they've one-tricked their champion to a degree. In the plat area, the biggest thing is they don't understand when they're ahead. They're like, oh man, I haven't really hit these items. I might be a 4-0 Zed, but I haven't hit these items, so I don't want to take fights. And it's like, but the Talon you're fighting against doesn't even have his Tiamat. Like, we should obviously be taking these fights while you have, the components for a Duskblade. Like, you're massively ahead item-wise. Like, we should obviously be taking these fights, and the person just doesn't want to take those fights, and it becomes a 2v1 for me. And so at that point, I had to readjust it and was like, all right, fuck it. I know we can win these fights. So instead of making him have to come to me, I'm going to his ass, and I'm playing Skarner, so I'm just going to drag his mid lane into him. He's going to take this fight if he wants to or not, and then we'd win fights, and then after that, they would start roaming. So it was a matter of showcasing people that we could win the fights if they moved, I guess, was really what I had to start doing. To play my style, I had to then adjust my style slightly to allow them to see what I was thinking, I guess. Like, maybe they didn't get the exact idea of what I was thinking, but they started feeling more powerful, so they were more willing to go for these fights, which is something I had to start doing to adjust it there. Take my weak point and figure out a way to maneuver something else in the way that was probably better strategy to begin with, to then get my skirmishy style going. So there's some certain things like that I had to do to kind of adjust it. But there was the gold area was really rough for me. Like, and right now it's still a threat right now, apparently, because I haven't been playing as much and my MMR is pretty bad. If I lose like the next 3 games, I think I get demoted back to gold 1. Because I entered into plat with demotion shielding on.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I entered into plat and immediately had demotion shielding because I was negative in games.
Damn, that's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. And then it didn't help that I went even more negative in games, to the point that I think I now earn like 14 or 15 a game and then lose 20. So it's a real rough spot for the ranked elo, but I'm also not as concerned with it because I've already hit one of my goals, which was showcasing that I could get myself onto a team that I potentially I should not have qualified for, right? Like, the NMU thing was super, super cool to me, and it's I'm really hoping I can make this opportunity work and that I can actually be on the team. So
Oh, yeah. When does that happen?
So that's supposed to be starting here in the fall. Like, I was supposed to have been able to get into the school. Problem was his previous grades prevented me from being able to join the school. Academically, I just didn't qualify. So I had to do community college this semester. Problem is I was too late to get into their immediate, like, the fall start for them. So I have to try for Flex 2 courses, which I have to talk to advisors to be able to do that. And so I have a scheduled appointment this Saturday to talk to my advisor to try to convince them to let me in for the Flex 2 courses. And if I can't make that, then I'm kind of SOL, and I unfortunately am off the team by default. Which just kind of sucks. But if I can make it there and I get those grades up and get myself to a 2.0, which shouldn't be too hard, I can then start in the spring and actually play in the tournament, which it was just announced about 2-3 weeks ago. Riot is going to be broadcasting all of the Collegiate League this year. Like, all of it, not just the finals and the top 16 or whatever. They're doing the entirety of it. They're going to be streaming it, which is real cool to me. But Yeah, so yeah, I'm really hoping I can do that opportunity. I mean, it proved to me that these 10 years didn't feel as much like a waste, and it also feels like I found new potential by just being able to reinvent myself as a jungler, like re-identify myself instead of just I'm Nick the ADC and I have to be the person that hard carries as an ADC. I became Nick who plays jungle, who can play some of the hard carry style champions, not to the best degree, but I can also play the tankier, more supportive style champions and do those really well. So overall, in a team play environment, I am pretty adaptable. And on top of that, with somebody who I see as I've always been good at, like when I see kind of somebody that I acknowledge as an authority figure, I'll listen to them and learn from them. So having a coach would help me improve as well. So like overall, like there's some huge steps towards what I want to pursue in this field. Uh, I'm 24 years old, so my chances of going pro are somewhat slim. But maybe, hey, if I just magically become this ridiculous, no, I say magically, if I put enough hard work into it and the coach helps me out enough, hey, there might be a chance I go towards academy leagues. Just fight for a spot on academy. I have no expectations of actual pro stuff, but like what, this guy is as good as a coach as he's boasted in the past, and I try to be as much of an malleable, adaptable person. Maybe I can get there.
Wait, who's the coach that was saying this?
His name is Beg. He has coached a lot of amateur teams, and he did a lot with the Western Michigan University the past 2 years. He's gotten them pretty high up in the standings both of those years, and he has gotten quite a few people that he has coached in the past from about my elo to master through helping them kind of learn how to fucking become better. So he's got some legitimate history in terms of being a coach, and he's done esports coaching for a long time. He did traditional sports coaching before that, so he's got some pretty decent background towards coaching at least.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this opportunity if I can make it work. And he's being super cool about the whole situation, like because apparently also I am not the only person on the team that did not have grades to cut it. Both our mid laner and our top laner did not have grades to cut it this semester, so all three of us have to try to get into community this split or this semester. And yeah, so that was fun. And I think our support didn't cut it either. Like he just picked a team of fucking academic winners is what happened. Yeah, I mean, no, I've been looking really forward to improving myself in League, like which is, I'd said it in the past that I want to get better. I want to climb. My motivation was always, I need to do this to prove something to myself, and I feel like I've now hit a point where what, I've proved enough to myself, and now it's just an ambition of wanting to improve that's moving me forward. My ambition is not driven by this, having to prove anything. Like it's a weight off my shoulder to a degree. Now I can just focus on improving opposed to focusing that I have not wasted my time, which I think just adds that extra, relief to allow me to actually focus on how to get better. Now the actual struggle just actually is getting enough time to do so. Having enough time to actually play and improve upon that. But I don't know. What have you been up to in the past couple weeks in terms of league stuff? Have you been able to get anything cool rolling for yourself?
Oh, I had to sub for a team recently. That was kind of fun.
You you,
They're
you subbed for a team recently?
yeah, in like a league. I subbed top lane, even though I don't really play top lane.
Nice. How'd that go?
I played Jack's top against against a Shen, but he doesn't. The guy that I went against doesn't play top either. I was kind of confused. I forget what he plays. Let me look. Okay, Here, I'll link you his OPGG. Oh, wait, he does play top. Okay, I guess he just wasn't that good.
That's always the worst
Okay.
situation for that person where it's like, oh yeah, he also doesn't play this. Oh, he does. Oh, he's
Uh,
just bad.
I thought he didn't, but I guess he does. He
Oof.
played Shiny against me
That
in the
is
first game.
that is a bad streak of rank games there. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He lost like 10 games in a row.
Dude, that's more than 10, dude. That's 15 games in a row.
Wait, is it 15?
6, 7, 8, 10, 11,
Whoa,
12, 13,
I
14.
guess.
14 games in a row that he's lost.
Okay, I guess OPGG like caps it at 10.
Then they do, and then you hit
You know,
more.
like, yeah, yeah, you know, like
Ooh,
when you look up.
that's.
No. Like when you look up multi,
Yeah.
someone look me the multi, and when you have like a streak, it tells you like this many wins or losses in a row.
Uh,
And his just said 10 losses in a row. But
oof.
yeah, he played.
Out of his past 20
He
games, he
played.
has a 30% win rate, dude. Out of his past 30 games. That's rough.
Yeah, game one I played Jax, and it was just kind of a boring lane. I didn't have to do anything. My team carried me. I went 2-2-6. And then the next game they banned Jax, so I just played Gragas against him and I smashed him in lane. I just went AP Gragas.
It's one
It
of
was
those
pretty.
things like where if you have a losing streak like that, it's one thing to have a losing streak and still be like ace or second best on your team. Like that's kind of acceptable to a degree where it's like you did pretty well, but it was just like not in the
Hey
cards.
man, this game from 7 games ago wasn't bad.
But none of
5 3
his
and 12. He
which
went
one is that
10
on?
9 and 14. The last game he played 7 days
Oh,
ago.
5, 3, and 12.
Shed.
Yeah, that's not bad actually. It's pretty solid.
Let's see.
He was the ninth best in the game. Was he just? Oh, he just didn't place wards. Like didn't place
Yeah, I was
wards. He
gonna say
wasn't
this.
farming.
It doesn't really. Dude, OPGG's thing is like freaking terrible. There's like a game where I entered and I got ace. It was actually
I
so
don't
funny.
I don't like Blitz app
It's
either
in
though,
my
because
match
Blitz
history.
Blitz app is only based on
Yeah,
KDA.
I don't look at any of them. Let me look.
I
Oh
like
yeah,
the
look at
op.gg
dude.
just to try to look at your ward score and shit.
Look at OPGG and fucking scroll down mine and look at my Morgana game. I'm 0-4-3. Morgana mid.
Let me
I just
find you.
fucking entered that game and it gave me the ace. I was like, okay, I guess.
I get aces and MVPs all the fucking time because of how much I ward.
Yeah, you get a lot of them for that. Just
But I also generally like I'm out warding the supports, which is just like but like I mean it's one thing like if my ward
yeah.
score
I was
was
like,
like
I was
just a good
thinking
ward
that game was actually funny.
like I think that there is some relevance to
I mean,
trying
dude,
to track ward score to a degree,
you know
but
what's crazy? The Lily game I just played,
uh-huh.
that 8 carry. I was looking at random streams, and I was looking at the streams at a lot of the leagues are like ending and doing their playoffs now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just looking at their playoff matches, and then in one of them, that ADC was in it. I was like, wait, what the fuck? I just played with you, and then, or I just played with that guy. I said it in the chat, and then he had the stream open too, so he fucking replied. He was like, "Hey Lulu, what's up?" I was like, "What the fuck?" It's like small world.
That's pretty great, dude.
I don't
I
said we lost that game. He
so
was so
oh so
true.
like during the tryouts, some fun stuff about that was that like I got noticed by three of the other guys trying out, and I was like, "How the hell do you guys know who I am?" They're like, "Oh, dude, I'm part of the same esports group as you." I was like, "Which one?" And they're like, and a couple of them were like, "I was playing on KG Viridian," and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, I was almost on that team. What? There's just like some people that were just part of freaking LHG, and then there was one guy. He's like, "Hey Nick, are you in Anarchy Esports?" I was like, "Well, I was being scouted by one of the teams." He's like, "Do you want to play?" I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm trying out for a college team right now." Like, when are we talking about here? And he's just trying to scout me out of the college tryouts. It's just like, what the fuck? But yeah, like, oh, I did get to find out like the other people trying out for jungle. So the only two of us made the team, right? there was 7 guys trying out for jungle. There was technically 9, 2 of them never showed up, but 7 of us tried out. Of the 7, there was 2 grandmasters, and then 3 diamonds, and then me and another plat guy who was like high plat.
Mm-hmm.
One of the grandmasters made the first team, and then I got second team jungle. And I was like, and it wasn't even like he went and offered it to the other guys. He told me like straight up, I was the second person. I was the first person that he secured that he wanted to have, and then he just wanted to try to get one of the 2 grandmasters. The other one he didn't want, and I was like, why wouldn't you want another grandmaster? Like, the guy's got some talent to him. He didn't seem like he was toxic. He's like, yeah, but he doesn't talk. He's like, you know how hard it is to teach people to communicate? Like, I don't want to have a person whose entire role is about communication who can't talk. Like, it's like, yeah, I guess that's a problem. But like, I literally got on the team because I showed potential and had communication skills better than anybody else. I was like, hell yeah, I talk too much is why I got on the team. Like, it was a great moment for me. It's like, all right, my skills in League of Legends may not be there, but my ability to never shut up has finally netted me a positive. And yeah, I was pretty happy. Also, I was the only person that played 5. I only played 5 games of jungle. A couple other guys had multiple days, but my first day we just didn't have enough people to do the 3rd game, so I only got 2 games that day. But I played 5 separate junglers, and I had a good performance on 3 of them. And unfortunately, my Gragas performance was fucking atrocious, which is sad because he's one of my favorite and usually one of my better junglers, and I played like absolute shit on him. But yeah, so like, I'm hyped. I'm hoping. I will never be able to play Skarner. That is already very evident. That I will never get to play him.
Why?
Well, because I have 200 games at a 61% win rate on him. So
No, you have a 60%.
60.3 now. But anyhow.
Yeah, get it right.
My bad. But like, yeah, so like, I was told by people during the tryouts, yeah, you're never playing this champion. And then I got told by the coach, he's like, yeah, you should probably try to broaden your pool a little bit because I don't think you're going to be able to play Skarner in any of our games. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, I had no expectation of playing him, but that's nice. Thanks for the vote of confidence that I'll never get to play one of my favorite champions. But my set and my Trundle, I have been trying to improve both of those. I think I told you a while back I was adapting how I was building Trundle to try to make it fit my playstyle, but still fit in the meta a bit better.
A little bit.
Yeah, so I do Cinderhulk into
usually building.
I was usually building like Bork, but like I've been debating into like a Death Stance maybe, or there's a few things I've been testing out with it, and then doing a full tank after that.
You picked the unluckiest time. Because fucking, when you were doing your Bork build all the time, that was before Bork got buffed, right?
Yeah, well, no, it was right before it got buffed,
right?
and then I played it even after it got buffed, and I played it more after it got buffed because of that. Yeah. That's where I became exclusively what was it? The Blood Razor and Blood Razor Bork.
Yeah.
But yeah, I picked a very unfortunate time there. I've also been testing out every now and then a AP Skarner build, and that's been fun. Yeah, so like you do Proto Belt Leandries as your second and third item, and then you do like a Dead Man's after that. And the reasoning for it is that his Q has about a 30% AP ratio during that empowers your auto attacks during that 5-second duration. On top of that, every time you proc a Q on somebody, it's an AoE that will proc Leandries on people. And allows you to shred. The Proto Belt allows you to have a pseudo flash to potentially jump in on people, grab them, and run the fuck away. And so, like, there's some pretty neat little strats that I've been doing with it. Also, his shield, his E, and his R all scale off of AP. Not massively, but each of them have an AP scaling on them. So, like, some of the biggest things that Skarner needs is HP, because that makes his W bigger. And because you're maxing his E anyways, it seems more efficient to be putting some type of AP into it, because, like, I'm not maxing my Q. Like, I have 1 point in my Q, and then I have, and then I max out E, then W. So, like, if I'm maxing those ones there, I need to be, getting the things that make both of those a bit better, probably, which is cooldown reduction, which is why Proto Belt works really well with it. And HP and AP, which scales onto both of them.
Wait,
So
what the hell? Skarner's? Wait. Skarner's high in the jungle right now? In
yeah,
win rate?
yeah, he is going up in the jungle because of the buff they did last patch. Enough high elo players have noticed that he's probably back into one of the top 15 spots, roughly. Probably in the. I think he's actually into the top 5 now of jungles
Wait,
played.
why is Tryndamere the highest win rate jungle right now? What the fuck?
That's probably just somebody cheesing on him. Um,
On champion.gg platinum plus.
Fuck. What's his game amounts?
Where do I see that? Let me look.
Let's see here. It's Tryndamere. So if you just click on the Tryndamere himself, it'll tell you. So his play rate is at 0.38%. It means there's very few games on that Tryndamere.
Oh yeah, you're right. Wait, where does it show? Oh, it shows the number of games on the left.
40,
2,000.
44 out of 46 jungles currently. He is the third lowest played jungle. He has a massive win rate because of it. Skarner, though, has a 1% play rate, which is pretty solid.
5,000 views. Wait, he's been played top too. What the fuck?
Yeah, Murthos plays him top.
Who?
Murthos, he's a
No.
Grandmaster Skarner top player.
There's so many Hecarim games.
Hecarim is one of the most popular right now because he is buff, made him OP as shit. But
You should play Hecarim, dude.
I really want to, but every time I go to pick him up, I either run into people that play him and so they know how to counter me, or I just don't ever get used to him fast enough before he gets nerfed. Which always seems like a problem. I am not the worst Hecarim in the world, but I am also one of the stupidest Hecarims in the world, probably, because if I see anything that looks like an opening, I'm just going in. And that is not always the good thing to do with him. One of the other things, so like all of my tanks I've noticed have some type of AP ratio to them, and I've noticed that there's been such a huge surgence in AD mids that I'm finding ways to play my tanks with a slight bit of AP to be our magic damage. So like the Skarner thing, I've tried to start picking up Lilia a bit. I've not been doing too hot on her. Mechanically, I'm not the worst on her, but I can't get her. The positioning for her has been really rough figuring that out.
She seems too hard. I don't like playing her.
She takes up she's
really
kind of like the
hard.
Aurelian soul of jungle, right? Like she just takes so much time to learn her spacing. It's just, I don't know if it's worth it.
I was thinking Singed.
Yeah, kind of like Cinch. Yeah, because she runs around.
Really, yeah, and you have a dot on your skill.
I can see that. But like Volibear, I told Darth No this a while ago, and he's like, I don't see where it fits. It doesn't make sense where it fits, and that's. I do a slight AP build on Volibear, where I toss a Leandries into my build. Nothing else, no other AP. Sometimes, if I'm like massively ahead, I might go in for a Nashor's Tooth, because the 20% cooldown reduction is actually pretty good, and then the attack speed's nice. But his passive has like a 30% AP ratio on it, and so like Leandries plus his passive just nukes through people's HP like really fast. And it catches people very off guard. Also, if I throw my E out there, my shield scales off of the AP of it, and it does more damage based off the AP of it. So that's always kind of an interesting little mechanic. You can just sit back and poke people with it and actually do a pretty decent amount of poke damage. And then if I land my ulti on top of you as Volibear, it does 115% AP damage. So that's always fun. When you have your, if I have 95, let's say 95 AP with Leandries, and I jump in there, cool, I do a base like 200 plus an extra like 200 on top of that, or an extra like 150 on top of that, or some shit like that. Just fucking nuke your HP. It's just like cool. It's actually a pretty funny build. Just tossing that in there. It's not something people expect. It's not for every game, of course, but it's, you know, again, one of those situations where it's like, we don't have any AP. Fuck it, I'll put a Leandri's in my build, and it works.
I'm 3-0 on Pantheon, right, dude? I don't even know.
I've wanted to pick up Pantheon again, but I felt like he's been really
I
bad in
don't
this
even know
meta.
what role I played him in. I think I played him support once for sure. I played it into what's her name, Yumi,
Yeah.
because apparently that's super easy, which it was super easy. Anytime she jumps out of the person, you just stun her, and then she can't go back in.
Oh, I'm also recovering my set win rate recently. I dropped all the way down to a 50% win rate on set. I'm back to a 54 in solo queue, which feels really nice. Even though he's been nerfed multiple times, I'm finding better ways to. I am finding that I am doing better with him now after he's been nerfed. Just because
Getting nerfed again.
yeah, they nerfed his E and his Q damage, or no, E and W damage. Sorry.
No, not next patch. He's getting nerfed again.
Again? What are they doing this next patch?
His Q. They're removing the base percent health damage. I
Wait,
think
they're getting
that's
rid of the percentage health damage on his Q?
yeah.
That's
The base. If you build AD, it scales still, but there's no base amount. You get what I'm saying?
so. What does his
So
Q end up doing then?
it still has the base damage of like plus 50 damage or whatever to your two autos,
And then
and then the
plus.
percent is only based off of your bonus AD or whatever. It doesn't have a base amount on the
Oh, that
whatever
seems
percent,
really
you know?
bad. That feels like that's just gonna kill
Yeah.
set. That's gonna.
So if you don't have any AD, basically at like level 1, and you don't have any of the what's it called, the adaptive, it would literally just be the base amount of 50 or whatever it adds to your auto attack. It would be 0% health
That
damage gain.
seems terrible.
Like you'll still have some
Uh huh.
because you have the adaptive AD or whatever.
So
So you'll have like
it's
plus whatever
so that
amount.
sounds like they're trying to get rid of set jungle at that point,
I don't even know.
which is dumb because that's the only role other than support that he's finding actual success in at the moment. Like I guess set mid still does a thing, but
And top, right?
no, he's
It's
not actually being flex top. When he
yeah.
actually in the past like 2 weeks when he's been flex top, he's got almost 100% lose rate in top lane. Like I get it, they want to stop him from being able to be flexed to so many roles, but like I feel like that kills the one like the role you actually want him in more than it does
He
the other
still
ones.
plays top though.
He
He has
is.
like the same. He has a higher play rate top than support right now in Plat Plus.
Yeah.
But I think the win rate's probably way lower.
His win rate top is the lowest out of most of his roles right now.
Wait, why doesn't it show it? Oh wait, no, his top win rate's higher than his support win rate.
Oh.
But his jungle is the highest.
Yeah, jungle is probably his best role still at the moment, which is
But it's
funny.
probably because everyone who plays him support isn't an actual support player. That could be
That
part
is
of it.
also pretty true.
Yeah.
I
Or
mean,
not everyone, but like some, a
the
decent amount.
yeah. The nerf still hurts me, but I don't think it actually hurts me all that much, seeing as I build in bruisery anyways. I don't build full tank set, so I think maybe that's what they're trying to kill is the full tank set build and make you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
build bruisery.
yeah. I think the scaling on the Q is better too, so
Yeah,
they're
that
just removing the base amount
eh,
or the base damage, so that if you don't build any AD, the percent health isn't very high.
they might in the future have to tweak it so he does a little bit higher of base, like instead of base 50, base like 75 or something like that, just to kind of balance it out a
Yeah.
little bit. But I think it'll still be a decent nerf, but I think it'll slow down his jungle clear enough that might be where you can fight, which is really awkward because he's supposed to be an early game champion. But if his jungle clear is worse, like in the early game, that should like mean that he's going to be like much worse in the jungle. Maybe I'll keep an eye on it because I'm going to be playing him a lot anyways. But definitely one of those things that it's to me kind of weird. I know you also play a lot of Gragas. Have you noticed anything good from the Gragas buffs? How do they feel?
Sometimes I even forget that he got buffed.
Yeah, that's problematic.
I don't really, I don't really like playing him that much recently.
I
So
found him to be awkward in the solo queue meta. Apparently, he's really good in the high elo meta, but like anything below that, he's kind of awkward, which is sad because I really love Gragas, but he definitely feels a little bit weird to play right now. I also want to play more Fiddlesticks, but I'm finding it harder and harder to figure out a composition that I want to play him in.
wait, you used to be able to stun two people with your E separately if you flashed. I don't even know that.
On who? On Gragas?
Yeah,
So like you'd hit the first person, flash over them, and you could hit the second person?
yeah. It was patched out in 10.11.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I know that was a thing too. That's pretty cool. Maybe if I was a good Gragas player, I'd do that.
Same. That was my exact thought after that. It's like, I've played this champion a
Like
lot and
you,
I don't know this.
yeah, I know, right? That you could E someone and then flash and E a second person. That's pretty crazy. Apparently, it was a bug though.
Oh,
Apparently, it was a bug. So
maybe I should pick the Tarek back up, see if he's strong.
yeah, dude. I followed that guy. I never thought about it, but I never followed that guy.
Did you start following Light Rocket now?
Yeah,
Dude, Light Rocket's fun to watch at least.
I watched the whole like Dung Hop video, but I never like remembered. I didn't remember what his name was. That's actually why I looked up the video again today. Someone on my team, like, someone on my team asked to switch from jungle to or from support to jungle. So then my jungler said okay, and then he locked in Tarek, and then the guy got confused and was like, because he held Smite, he forgot to switch Smite off, and he was like, "Are you playing jungle Tarek?" And then they started talking about, it, and I was like, we were talking about the Grandmaster Tarek guy.
Dude,
I was like,
he's considered an Elo terrorist by people in that there's so many videos of people calling him an Elo terrorist, and it's so funny. It makes me
"How's an
laugh
ELO terrorist?"
because they're like, oh, he's not actually that good at the game. He's just really good at Tarek. And it's like, no, he's actually pretty smart. Like he's not like the fact that he figured out how this works on top of the fact that he also is figuring out ways to optimize his build to be the most like useful aspect that he can be is really neat. Like like you can't discount the guy just because his pick is cheesy. Like he also has a lot of inherent weaknesses, right? Like Derek's not mobile. Like that's a pretty big weakness in the jungle, and he's still making it work.
Reminds me of New Brack, dude.
it's it's one of those things. I love him. I love watching Light Rocket. I like watching Murthos sometimes. I don't like watching Murthos as much because he is also very much a Skarner elitist. He thinks he knows the best on Skarner, which is really annoying.
When you said you like him, I thought you meant New Brack for a second. I was like, why would you like New Brack?
Nubrak? Who's Nubrak?
The Teemo guy? The
Oh,
guy that plays Teemo support and then goes mid lane?
that
And
sounds
he
awesome.
AFKs in the lane? And then he like tries to cheese him?
Sounds awesome.
Dude, he was really high rank and then people didn't like having him on their team.
Are you a
Because
fan
he
of
would do that.
Gibson 8686?
I don't know who that is.
He's a he is a Alistar mid one trick who also believes in communism, and thus he runs it down to make it an even playing field if his team is ahead.
That sounds terrible.
He's a fucking troll. He's had like 46 banned accounts or something like that.
Was he high rank?
He's plat. He gets into about plat and then he just trolls. And I found out about him in tryouts. Somebody was talking about the fact that they ran into Gibson, and then they found out that another person also ran into Gibson. So they all like they creamed their pants talking about this guy that terrorized their rank games. which of course made me start laughing about that. And I was then introduced to Gibson from that point, and I have watched some of his games every now and then, but I just can't do it. He's the epitome of like creepy like basement anime nerd who also just his stream titles are also just disgusting. Like they just make me want to vomit reading his stream titles. See if I can find him. Oh, he's streaming right now, actually. Blank yet. He is yeah, he is an interesting character. That is what I got to say about that one. Uh just reading his description, man. Anyhow. Um well, I think we've hit a lot of pretty good topics here. I don't really have much else to talk about, podcast wise. I mean, I'm down still hanging out, chatting, and then playing some League or something. But
Alright.
I'm gonna end the podcast here. So those who were listening either on my stream or end up watching the YouTube video, or I guess those maybe watching on Sarc's stream as well. Uh, Thank you guys for hanging out with us for this. And if you enjoy these podcasts and chats that me and Sarc have, you can find us on our respective streams that you may be watching. Sarcasm is on Sarcasm SC over at Twitch. And then I am the_Lord_Nick over on Twitch. Just go ahead and look us up. I'll leave our links in the description down below on the video. And again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. So I'll catch you guys later.